Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is your Vedic Astrology coach Rajat Kapoor and welcome to my channel The Legit Astrologer. In my channel I make videos on Vedic Astrology. I talk about transits. In the recent times I have made a number of videos on transits. In this video I'm going to give you some pearls of wisdom, some deep secrets about Navamsa chart, about the 7th lord, about what are those planets and houses that play a very important role in marriage and a sustainable marriage, what could cause a detrimental effect in relationship, how it is positive. This is a small trailer into my course on Navamsa. I'm going to deep dive. I'm preparing something big. Very soon you will have a course that I'll have to offer. I'll do live classes, and of course there'll be very interesting material that you will have access to. And this is just a little snapshot, but I'm going to give you a lot of pearls of Jyotish in the next few minutes. I have also received a number of inquiries from most of you on whether I would teach Vedic astrology. So I plan to introduce a course which will be specifically on Navamsa, or the D9 divisional chart, which is the most important divisional chart. Besides Shashti Amsha, which is D60, the blueprint of the past life karmas, Navamsa is also very closely associated with past life karma. And based on Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra, both Shashti Amsha and Navamsa have been given greater importance, sometimes even more than the Lagna or the Rashi chart. Because this chart is the blueprint of your karmas, and Jyotish astrology is all about karmas. It is the play of karmas in life. Nowadays, what most people are interested in to get predictions based on certain transits. Some people have very high expectations as well. Give me a 2-minute snapshot. Give me specific days in terms of how these transits will work. We must understand that there are a lot of other factors that are involved as well. Transits will always support dashas, will always support your time period, your overall horoscope needs to be taken into account, which includes your Lagna chart, which includes your Navamsa chart as well. Sometimes I end up spending hours reading the Navamsa chart because this is the blueprint of your karmas, of your past life karmas that you have accumulated. Navamsa is the 9th division of the Rashi chart, and this chart is mapped to your 7th house. It is not mapped to the 9th house. Since it is mapped to the 7th house, we also see marriage, relationship. Your spouse is seen from the Navamsa chart. There are a lot of misconceptions that have been created. The Navamsa chart has certain activation age. Maybe it is activated after 30 years of age now. It is all myth. It has zero truth. Navamsa is active since the day of your birth. The only karmic theory I believe in is that up till the age of 12 years, your time period, your actions are mostly driven by parents' karma. So that plays a very important role, very vital role. Therefore, I never read chart of children. I only look at more from a point of view that whether there are any adverse yogas, whether there are any serious remedies that needs to be done, whether there is any arishta or a bal arishta, or whether this arishta is causing any cancellation or not. Only for that matters. But after the age of 12, 13, once a child achieves puberty, this is when your chart plays a very vital role in terms of the karmic blueprint. Now, Navamsa is active since day 1 of your birth. It is the 9th division, which we also call it Bhagyamsha, because this is very closely associated to your Bhagya. In this video, I'm going to give you some very golden tips. So this is more of a trailer, more of an introduction. And based on this video, you can expect what could be there in my course when I teach Navamsa. There will be live classes that will be included. There will be a number of material. I'm trying to put the lesson plan in place, and you'll hear more about what it will include. Now, this is the chart of your marriage. This is the chart of your Bhagya. It is activated from your birth time. This is absolutely mapped to the 7th house of the Rashi chart or the D1 chart. Now, let's understand 7th house before we move into Navamsa and what it is all about. 7th house is also called the Daya Bhava. It is also called the Jaya Bhava. So, this got 2 additional names. Being Daya Bhava, we also see our sense of helping others, how much of giving we are in terms of nature. Therefore, when there are malefics in the 7th house, it does make someone of helping nature. You love to give others. When there are benefics in the 7th house, it makes someone selfish. Take an example of Lord Ram. He had Mars in its 7th house, a potent malefic, and that too exalted. And he gave up everything. He gave up his kingdom. He did a lot of work for the benefit of the people. He was the people's king. Now, 7th house denotes marriage. However, it denotes much more than marriage. First house is your own home. 7th house is the opposite space. So, it indicates all those people, things, and events that are opposite to you. 7th house of the Rashi, we see marriage from it, which means vivaha in Vedic terms. So, vivaha. If we break this word, it leads to vahana or a vehicle. So, what does this mean? This means that this is a vehicle that now carries you. First house is yourself. 7th house is who is going to carry you. Venus is the primary significator of this house and primary significator of vivaha or marriage as well. There are other factors that we see when it comes to promise of marriage, when it comes to timing of marriage, when it comes to fulfillment of marriage as well. It is the 7th house and the 7th lord. Any planet that is placed here, or if it receives any aspect, there is certainly a promise of marriage. Whether this will fructify or not and when it will fructify, it depends on number of other factors as well. The placement of your 7th lord, the placement of Venus, the connection between the 7th lord and Venus. Upapada Lagna, which is the Aruda of your 12th house. So, based on the position of your 12th lord, we calculate Upapada Lagna, which plays a very important role in relationship, and when it will fructify. Timing of marriage is seen from the Upapada Lagna. The Navamsha Lagna lord, 7th house of Navamsha. 7th house of the D1 chart is more about your attitude towards those people who are opposite to you. That includes your partner, that includes your spouse. 7th house of the Navamsha chart is about your spouse's attitude towards you or the behavior towards you. The planets that are placed there or the planets that are aspecting that house will indicate the kind of behaviors you could expect. Also, the direction out of the 8 cardinal directions, the direction where your spouse can come from. All of this is seen. Now, the tithi that you are born in also plays a very important role. So, there are 15 different tithis, the waxing moon and the waning moon, and each of the tithi has a lordship. So, for example, Pratipada tithi is lorded by Surya. Dvitiya tithi, which is the second day of the lunar cycle, is ruled by moon. Tritiya is ruled by Mars. Chaturthi is ruled by Mercury. Panchami is ruled by Jupiter. Shashti is ruled by Venus. Saptami is ruled by Saturn, and Ashtami is ruled by Rahu, and it goes on till Amavasya tithi. So, the lordship also plays a very important role, which tithi you were born in and who lords. That indicates fulfillment in the relationship. So, there is a lot that is happening when it comes to trying to find out what karmas are you manifesting when it comes to relationship, your Rashi chart, all of these lords, and the Navamsha chart as well. These are some very deep secrets. Then let's also talk about the lowest degree planet, that is your Darakaraka. There is a lot of misconception that Darakaraka represents your spouse. It does not represent your spouse. Dara means the upholder of your secrets. So, for that matter, it represents your partner, it represents your spouse. It could also represent those people who are close to you, who know your secrets. It represents yourself. What is the biggest secret that a person would have? Something that you know and others don't know. Now, one common example I can take here is the amount of money that you have in your bank balance. That is sometimes known to you. That sometimes is also not known to your spouse or the partner. So, you are also the upholder of the secret. Therefore, Darakaraka, whichever planet holds the lowest degree in your chart, plays a very important role in financial matters, in wealth related matters. It is the manager of your money, manager of your finances, and of course, its placement will indicate whether you will have the potential to earn wealth or not, and who is that upholder of your secrets and where this person will come from. Now, if we talk about Navamsha chart, the D9 chart, which is also Bhagyamsha, the Lagna or the first house of the Navamsha talks about your Bhagya, your fortune, your karmas from the previous birth, how they are going to manifest. The placement of the Lord of the Navamsha chart matters a lot. How it is placed in Navamsha and how it is placed in your Rashi chart or the D1 chart as well. We call it Amsatulya Rashi. So you map it back to the D1 chart. If your Navamsa say is exalted, so that is indicative of you having very good karmas from the previous birth, and the placement of this Lord now will play a very important role in terms of giving you some sort of direction in life. So let's say this Lord is Saturn, it's exalted in your Navamsa chart, and now in your Rashi chart it is in Aries, it is debilitated. So you've gotten an opportunity in this life to improve significations related to Saturn, to take care of laborers, to take care of helpers, to work really hard in your life, to be very dedicated, to be very disciplined in anything that you do, to follow law and order. So this is more or less the calling which you have. The Navamsa Lord, if it goes debilitated in the Navamsa chart itself, the Lord of your first house of Navamsa, this means that there were some remedies which were done in your previous birth, which were now done. And now it's an opportunity for you to have some fructification of the results. Of course, it will bring in some pain at the soul level, some suffering at the soul level, certain challenges as well. So based on the fact that the Lord of your Navamsa Lagna is most important. If it is exalted in own sign, in Mool Trikon sign, it does indicate some good karmas of your previous birth, and its current placement in the chart will indicate the direction that you should have. And if this Lord is debilitated or in enemy's house, this indicates that there were certain remedies which were done in your previous birth, and you should be thankful of those remedies, and now you need to maintain some sort of consistency. The 7th house of the Navamsa chart talks about your spouse's attitude towards you and the direction where they will come from. Therefore, Navamsa chart must be fixed. The other important division chart is D60, Sashti Amsha, which changes within seconds. But Navamsa chart is very easy to fix. The 4th house of your Navamsa chart, it is called the Khara Bhava. Any malefic planet in the 4th house indicates pain, suffering when it comes to marital harmony. And different planets will indicate different things. If Sun is in the 4th house of Navamsa chart, it would indicate authority issues, ego battles when it comes to marriage. If Mars is there, there will be temperament issues that could cause friction. There will be a lot of fire, a lot of negativity. But then of course, if certain things are supportive in your Rashi chart, this could minimize. If there is Rahu or if there is Ketu, that could lead to an abusive relationship. That could lead to infidelity. That could lead to a sense of insecurity in marriage. If there is Saturn in the 4th house, that could indicate that there is a lot of coldness that could develop post-marriage. If there are benefics, Jupiter, that is a blessing to have. Venus, it ensures a lot of love, a lot of abundance, a lot of interaction in marriage. Mercury ensures a lot of communication, but it brings a lot of impulsiveness as well. Moon in the 4th house of Navamsa chart gives the relationship that kind of mental strength which it needs. If there are multiple planets, of course, you will see it in both ways. It could have positive as well as negative effects as well. But the 4th house of the Navamsa chart is very important when it comes to the post-marital relationship. Once you are in a union, once you are in Vivaha, once you take the vehicle that carries you. Therefore, I always give this advice. It is not good to stay in a bad relationship from a karmic standpoint because you have a sense of suffering. So it is important for you to identify at the right manner and do not prolong, do not try to hang in there. Take certain decision that needs to be there, right? Because if we see first relationship, first marriage from the 7th house of the Rashi chart, we see second marriage from the 2nd house of the Rashi chart. This is a deep secret that I'd like to share with you. So Vivaha or marriage is carrying yourself away. 7th house is the natural Vayu Bhava or the airy element, because this is where the natural sign of Libra is, okay? And it is the Kendra Vayu house or the Kendra air house, quadrant air house. It is leading you away with your spouse, close to your spouse. Lagna, 1st house is your home, 7th house is outside home. This is where a union happens. It is also the exposure to the outside world of people, things, events. Therefore, a strong air element or Vayu element is most important when it comes to supporting marriage in the long run. Saturn and Rahu are Digbali, or they gain directional strength in the 7th house. Okay, but on contrary, Moon is the planet that has highest Vayu. Why it has highest Vayu? From a Tattva perspective, yes, it is Jala Tattva, but Moon is the fastest moving planet, fastest moving Graha. Therefore, it has highest Vayu. Saturn, on contrary, is the slowest moving planet. It has least amount of Vayu. It is air element because this is something which it perceives to be. This is its aim. Its aim is to be as fast as Moon. Therefore, Saturn in the sign of Moon, which is Cancer, is giving Raj Yoga if it is placed in certain important houses in the chart. Moon's connection or prominent planets connection between the 3rd and the 9th axis of the D1 chart, if Moon is placed in the 3rd house or the 9th house, indicates a high amount of desire, a high amount of physical desire, sexual desires in marriage, right? Something that is very fast paced if there are prominent planets in the 3-9 axis, because this also brings in some karma towards relationship, gives very high sense of desire, especially when Moon is in the 9th house. It gives a very high sexual energy. 9th house is the trinal house. It is your worldview. 5th house is also one of the trinal house. So these two houses are the worldview. So again, plays a very important role in relationship matter because 5th house represents love, that is unconditional. Now, any connection between the 5th lord, 7th lord and the 9th lord, what happens here is, if they make connection, you feel like that you want to get married or be with a god. You have very high expectations, sometimes very unrealistic expectation. We always tend to probably have our partner or spouse behave in a manner as we would. Get up on time in the morning, do this at the right time, do that at the right time, right? So frequent influence in terms of your behavior, in terms of your discipline, your organizational skills, you try to impose on the other person. If there's a connection between the 5th lord, 7th lord, 9th lord, if let's say if they're placed in each other's houses, and if your dasha antardasha is supportive, conducive, you could experience some of these things. Okay. Now the Vayu element, air element, is the charioteer of Agni, of fire. Fire flows when wind blows. This is something which we must remember. And Moon is the most lustful planet when it comes to the Vayu element, and especially when it is connected to the 3-9 axis, because Moon is the fastest planet and Saturn has least Vayu, it is slowest. It is death inflicting. Now Vayu is your life equation. It is Va plus Ayu, which means when water flows and wind blows, there is long life. So it is very important to have a lot of air element in the chart. A strong Moon can give long life because it has a good combination of water as well as wind. Now lastly, let me share with you the 8 types of marriages or vivahas as written in our Jyotish Shastras, as written in our ancient text, and what are those planets that govern each type of this marriage. And in some cases, we do witness that there is a mix or a culmination of 2 or 3 types of marriages, as I would explain to you in the most simple manner. So one of the type is called Brahma Vivaha. So Brahma Vivaha, the ruling planet is Jupiter. Now based on Vedic text, it is written that this is where a groom seeks bride for her skills and abilities. In the modern context, I could say that we seek our partner, and one of the criteria that is there is in terms of their skills, abilities, knowledge, what do they bring on the table, what is the kind of profession that the person is in, and of course, how focused are they in terms of their career, in terms of their work. So this is one of those type. If there is Jupiter having a greater influence in the chart, of course, we could see more from a preference point of view in terms of this is one of the type of marriage that can be there. There's another type that is Prajapatya Vivaha. So Prajapatya Vivaha, based on ancient Vedic text, it is written that this is where bride seeks groom for progeny. In the modern context, we can say that the union, marriage primarily is happening for the sake of extension of family. This is where you want to have children to extend your family, progeny. And the ruling planet for Prajapatya Vivaha is Sun or Surya. There is also another type, that is Daiva Vivaha, and Daiva Vivaha is ruled by Mars or Mangal. And this is a situation where the expectations are so high, there's a greater mismatch when it comes to the energy levels. Such people face a lot of problems when finding someone suitable or the right partner or the right match. So you're seeking a partner at different places. It could be a function, it could be a social event, it could be a gathering. And with this strong influence of Mars, because of the energy level mismatch, we also suggest a remedy, which is a Kumbha Vivaha remedy for such people in such cases, in case they face a lot of problems finding the right match. And this is quite predominantly possible in today's environment, where we see people in their late ages, late 30s, late 40s as well, still living a bachelor life. The next type is called Arsa Vivaha, where the ruling planet is Moon. This is where a marriage is supposed to happen to a seer, a professor, an educator or teacher, someone who has a great affinity or ability towards teaching others, towards spreading a message, a very saintly kind of a person, a very mindful kind of a person. The next type of Vivaha or a type of marriage is called Asura Vivaha, where the predominant planet is Mercury that rules. And this kind of marriage or Vivaha is all about where money rules. It is about status. So marriages are done while keeping the status in mind. This is also where certain dowry, gifts, or where money is majorly involved. There are also these situations where marriages are done due to some business related benefits, where there are business partnerships involved. So if Mercury has a predominant role to play, it leads to Asura Vivaha. There's another type of Vivaha which we call Gandharva Vivaha, and this is where Venus plays a very important role. Marriage or the union is happening because of physical pleasure, because of a sense of attraction, and this is where we see a lot of chances of love marriages. The person who you'd like to marry, you would want to fall in love with that person before you tie the knot, before you take that decision. This is where Venus dominates. Next type is called Rakshasa Vivaha, where Saturn is the predominant factor. This is a kind of situation where the marriage could be forced under some political influence, political pressure, or some sort of other psychological pressure, parental pressure, out of fear, out of insecurity that now I have to get married. So this is where Saturn predominantly plays a very important role. And the last type, or the eighth type, is called Paisacha Vivaha, which is ruled by Rahu or Ketu. These are the two lunar nodes that have predominantly acting or playing a role in Paisacha Vivaha. This is a lot to do with intoxication. This is where one of the partner could have some mental health issues, stability when it comes to their mental health. There could be other issues as well. This is also indicative of something that is prohibited, something which is unconventional, maybe something which is interracial, intercaste, something wherein you go out of your way to, of course, finding a partner, where seduction also plays a very important role in order to finding a partner or having this union. So this is where we could see some unconventional ways or approaches towards marriages. So these are the 8 types of marriages as written in our Vedic text, and a very simple explanation of how in the modern world this could translate into. We do not have any one particular type of marriage. A marriage is a mixture or a combination of some of these types. This will predominantly play an important role based on the 7th lord and its placement, the planets that are there in the 7th house of your natal chart, and the planets aspecting your 7th house of the natal chart, the Arudha of your 12th lord, which is the Upapada Lagna, and its lord, the lord of the Tithi, the lord of the 7th house of the Navamsha chart, and the planets that are placed in the Navamsha chart. We could make a fair assessment in terms of what would be the experiences when it comes to post marriage, and some of the things that one has to be careful of, and where are the remedies that are going to come into account. So this was my thoughts on Navamsha and its impact in terms of your overall fortune and marital harmony. Over the course of the next few days, I'm going to share more about the course that I'm going to be coming up with. In case you're interested, feel free to write to me, and I'm happy to share some details over email with you all. Thank you very much. God bless you all.